Spawning in the bottom left of Oxide, our red Zerg player for CSO Esports. This is YoungYakov. And spawning in the top right, it's our blue Terran player for Alpha X. This is Babymarine. A little bit of silly shenanigans happening here with the emotes at the outset of this game. Of course, this is the elimination match here in round 8. One of these players is not going to be able to move on to the playoffs here in Season 3. And both players fully expect to be able to make it, but their road is already difficult as it is. I mean, they're going to have to square off against each other and take a best of 3 here. But then following that, a best of 3 with Arogfire as well, who, again, is looking to stay on top in the standings here for the Junior Championships Season 3. Having been the champion in Seasons 1 and 2 is very valuable, but it does manage to find a lot of depth in the positioning of our setup here for these players. So not really getting a whole lot happening here at the outset of this game. Pretty high probability that we'll see a more standard game coming out of Babymarine. He doesn't usually have too many tricks up his sleeve in TVZ. Now, YoungYakov, we've talked about in previous series, has a lot of very good aggression and aggressive play styles that he can utilize. And it's possible that against a player like Babymarine that could be a challenge, as Babymarine will tend to play just a little bit more passively, a little bit more defensively, and if you want to try and get across the map with something that will siege in on top of tanks, liberators, it's going to get a bit challenging. But it is going to be a Liberator opening here for our blue Terran player. And actually, I think he picked off a lot of those Zerglings. Did the Zerglings actually get caught out? I think they did. They did end up getting lost. Only 4 Zerglings, so where did the remainder go? Oh, there they are. They're just chilling, waiting to jump in on an unsuspecting group of units. Could transfuse onto that forward queen to aid in that defense, but this is going to be stereotypically pretty quick for our blue Terran player, getting that stim pack almost immediately here, opting to take that 3rd base expansion and build it inside of the front wall. It is going to be a layer going down right around the 445 mark. But YoungYakov is going to showcase this aggression here very early on. This Overlord actually still finding a lot of valuable scouting information, but what kind of defense waits for Babymarine back at home? There is 1 Marine. Oh, nice little pick off on the build there, but plenty of workers will still be available. That's not going to be too scary. 3 workers do end up getting cleaned off the top here. Finally, that command center does begin building once again. Stim pack has already been completed. Now we will see combat shield being brought in as well, and this should be a quick push into a nice little bio timer. 4th base already being worked on as well for Yakov as he continues to get his economy built up here. Oh, not overcommitting with those units, but I can't help but feel like anytime a non-Grandmaster player gets that opportunity, has 5 Hellions or so, and what seems to be an open mineral line, I can't tell you how many times those players will just dive. They'll get so many kills. It's the GM players. Those are the ones that will always say, you know what? I don't want to risk losing this. Putting a fair amount of damage down on the hatchery will be valuable here. That makes that a very soft target going forward in the game. Third base is going to be coming out on site as well. It's additional Zergling and Baneling as well. Do we have a Roach Warren? I don't think we do. No Roach Warren at this point. So just a reservation into Ling Bane right now. We'll have to see if Aspire ends up going down. We've seen this as of late from European Zerg players, just a very dominant Ling Bane style of play with Queens additionally brought in here. Babymarine does get an opportunity to try and get some extra aggression out onto the map, but this is a lot of damage going down. All of those Hellions have been taken care of. I actually can't even zoom in on that army, and that is a lot of units. In fact, those are all of the Marines dead and gone. What was the end trade result here? There were 6 drones killed off of the top of that. But the third base of Babymarine was also delayed as well, so bit of a fair exchange here by these two players. 1-1 on the way here for Yakov. It's about 2/3 of the way done. 1-1 actually just now wrapping up for Babymarine, so he will have the momentum to push if he wants to, but he's got to get more of those units produced as well. We do have an infestation pit going down for Yakov, so more than likely going to see a transition into Hive. I wouldn't hate seeing infestors here as well to really lock those Marines into place, especially against a largely Ling Bane army. Ooh. Can't tell if those Banelings got killed or if they detonated onto that. But either way, they were lost, and the mine was cleared up as a result as well. 9 workers end up getting killed. A couple of mines doing some good work in the drop positions here. Now we do see that Hive coming on the way. It's just +2 Carapace right now. Kind of an interesting ploy. One barracks has no rally point. Units are kind of piling up. Yakov's got some great control on the mines, being able to mitigate their damage as quickly as possible. Oh, that medevac is dangerously low here. That Queen should be able to pick that off. Yeah, there it goes. Very nice pinch by Yakov to eliminate some of that extra damage here. But we do start seeing a little bit of a forward progression here for Babymarine. He's going to get that 4th base building on site. Now we do see those infestors start popping out as well. Going to be valuable for Fungals. Then it's going to allow him to continue playing into the beauty of his Ling Bane aggression, especially when you get able to play. Oh, that mine went forever and a day. As long as those Banelings are able to play on creep, they will find a lot of value, but wow, that mine got an insane grab there. Drilling claws are going to be brought in to the fray, or we're just going to see more of that Marine mine medevac. It's just a different Triple M. It used to be Marine Marauder medevac, and that's still valuable and still good, but man, have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Marine Mine medevac? So the Hive is already done. We do have Adrenal Glands incoming as well. There will be an Ultra Den on top of this, so Yakov going to make a fun little ground game out of this and hope to overwhelm his opponent. Now, the 4th base is still a command center at this point, so if Yakov wants to try and get across the map before this position gets anchored down any further, he has a bit of a window to get that started, but I think he is probably going to be waiting for a decent amount of time. More mine damage going to come down here. 6 more workers get picked off. We're going to start seeing Babymarine playing into his version of the mid to late game. as well as these units are going to start sieging in multiple locations, creating a lot of problems for... Oh, those were fake. Creating a lot of problems for YoungYakov. Yeah, now we see the planetary fortress getting brought in. It will be joined with an orbital more than likely. Very good siege tank positions. But we're going to start seeing a lot of rotating here. We saw a little bit of this in some matchups today in the TSL. Oh, good Babymarine connections here. But that is not going to slow down this overwhelming push here into the third base location. Those banelings are going to wrap around. Oh, they actually run past a whole bunch of those units, so not going to find as much damage as they otherwise could, but still a fair number of units here for Yakov to deal with. Babymarine has been able to hold relatively well so far. He's dealt a fair amount of damage at this point, but I think he needs more. He's not going to be happy with what he's got thus far. Ooh, we do have a Spire coming down as well. Adding in a few Corruptors could be very, very valuable here, especially as Ghosts start getting added in to the army composition. Finding something that's going to be able to knock down the Medivacs will provide less staying power for Babymarine, and that will get YoungYakov the positioning that he needs to stay on the map. I'm surprised that these investors haven't been used as actively as possible. What a great mine shot here. These mines have been so devastating. This is very reminiscent of Clem's style of play, and it wouldn't surprise me to hear that Clem has been a large factor of Babymarine's play, but YoungYakov is just going to try and force his way on in here. It doesn't matter that there are Ghosts and Liberators. These altars are just going to come barreling forward. There is no personal cloaking just yet, so these Ghosts are going to be very, very exposed. One of those Ghosts is going to get picked off. A couple more of these altars going to evacuate out of the natural, but not before this one manages to find a ton of worker kills here. Baneling going to get on top of those SCVs. Oh, it's going to get popped and not even dealt with, but lots of double-digit kills. Additional damage is going to go down here. We did finally see the types of kills that we were looking for, and YoungYakov is going to bulldoze his opponent here in game number 1. Babymarine's going to have to scrape his way out if he wants to advance on to the decider match. GG. All right, so on Romanticide, this is I would say a Terran favored map, honestly. Because as a Zerg player, you're probably going to take this third base location here, and you're going to weasel up the right side of the map, which does create a little bit more of an awkward progression for your creep, especially if you're wanting to move forward out onto the map, but you're being forced to stay right aligned. So if there was a place for Babymarine to try and come in and create an advantage for himself, he might be able to do it on this map. I think every little bit of damage that can be done here by Babymarine will be valuable, and finding a drone is a huge piece of damage here. So this Reaper is going to be able to find some early distraction. Yeah, we do see that third base already down and in place. That makes a huge difference. Yeah, Yakov's not happy about that, but he loses the Reaper! Oh, no. Oh, that wasn't worth it. That was just not worth it. Oh, yeah. Babymarine should be tilted, unfortunately. Oh, that's He started off very strong there with that Reaper, but losing that will open up YoungYakov for so much potential movement forward here. He's going to be able to get his creep out as quickly as possible. He's going to be able to basically play uninhibited. Ooh, and Babymarine is already kind of going a little bit off script here. He has that third command center down very, very quickly. It is going to be 2 racks before the starport is even down. And there goes the starport right now. And I think this works out well if your opponent is not allowed the opportunity to get his 3-base economy up and running. And that just certainly does not appear to be the case right now. One thing that does appear to be the case is the fact that Yakov is regaining control in this particular game once again, and playing against an opponent who is a bit on the tilty side could work out into his favor quite well. But he's going to be able to get up into that lair, start moving himself out, but it's the disparity here for me. If Babymarine is going into this type of an engagement here, especially with this many Marines this early on, first off, he should be able to avoid getting scouted on it. But since it was scouted out, now Babymarine has to move out a little bit early, so he has a few less Marines to engage in this fight. But most importantly, there's going to be plenty of Zerglings brought into this engagement. So now this is not going to be as effective. There will be an Overlord killed off here, and that's a bummer, but that's not going to prevent any supply cap from being built. We're getting 1 queen right away. That's a good way to start this particular situation here. Having enough Zerglings to be able to overwhelm that was good, and knowing that there were going to be Banelings on the way as well helped anchor that down and made that an easy situation to try and play into. So now it's just going to be Babymarine trying to get any amount of value out of this push that he possibly can. He will be able to get a little bit of damage there, only be able to pick off 1 worker at this point. But pushing back the creep will be helpful. The 4th base is already down and in place for YoungYakov, and that's not a great situation for Babymarine. Feels like he's playing with a lot less than he otherwise would like to. So just going to be continued aggression onto this creep to stop this creep spread in its entirety. Ooh, some great target firing onto those Banelings, though, is going to be, allow these Marines to get on in. They're going to get a fair amount of damage done here. Oh, but a great connection will be able to push this back and away. There is still 1 siege tank on the opposite side here, but check this out. We do have a Baneling roll by. Is this going to be spotted? No, it is not, and that is going to be a insane amount of damage here. 15 workers have gone down for the price of just a few units on the opposite side of the map. This ends up being a great exchange. Now, on paper, that does end up looking okay for Babymarine. It feels like he equalizes things out, but losing 15 workers and then subsequently the economic advantage over the course of the next couple of minutes here is a huge amount of damage that's going to be difficult to try and recover from. So now, instead, this is going to be a rough situation that Babymarine has to try and play out of. But as it sits right now, it looks like Babymarine wants to continue getting aggressive here at this 4th base location. There is going to be additional units brought in. Oh, right before that wall was allowed to finish here, these units are able to slip on in and create a little bit more chaos, trying to kill that last supply depot with the last few nibbles, but no, not going to be the case. Instead, it is going to be YoungYakov that has to try and protect against these tanks that have moved themselves forward. His fourth base is still going to be under siege. There is an additional base being brought in on the north side of the natural of YoungYakov, but this base is not going to be long for the world. That will get shut down, as will that Overlord being spawned, only to die in a horrific marine-related accident. Well, this should be maybe a little bit better engagement. Oh, a lot of those banelings actually get picked off. This is not the engagement that Yakov was hoping for here. Babymarine is going to be in a much better situation here. He's going to charge on forward. Stim is activated and ready to go, and he wants to kill as many of these workers as he possibly can before lifting up and out. Those banelings are not going to find their target just yet. In fact, he's going to try and nuke this down. Is he going to be able to get that hatchery? No, not quite, but the following tanks should be able to limit the amount of defense damage that can get done here. Babymarine looking in a little bit of a healthier position right now. He is going to get +2 in his arsenal. No +2 armor right now, or infantry armor as it sits at this moment. But yeah, this is going to be a scary bit of a push here. These units are going to get up into the main base. He is waiting just a little bit too long maybe, but these units have no idea where they need to go. Suddenly, this is starting to look really, really bad for our blue Zerg player. Babymarine's going to capitalize on the moment here. He forces Yakov to split up his army because Yakov knows that there's going to be multiple aggression coming from a different location. Hydras are out and on the way, but is it going to be enough to actually hold this down in place? Some great transfuses here. Try to keep this hatchery alive. Babymarine thinks for a moment he wants to try and tap that down, but instead Babymarine is just going to go back up into the main and get more economic damage done here. Can he get this Hydraless Den is going to go down. Muscular augments have been denied. That means Hydra speed is going to be delayed for quite some time. There's no more Hydras in the production tab as well. So what we see is what he gets. He only has 5. This is not going to be enough to be able to hold this in place. He's going to take this swarm of lings and move across the map, but what's going to be waiting for him over here? Plenty of units and a lack of opportunities to try and actually kill his opponent. Oh, all of those banelings are going to connect onto the tank, and they go absolutely nowhere. These Zerglings are not finding any damage. We are going to get a game number 3. It seems like Babymarine has been able to secure himself a chance to get a game number 3 and keep himself in the mix. +3's on the way. Hydra Den is now being rebuilt, but the lair is down. The Hydra Den is only now being rebuilt. This is a big moment here for Yakov, but he just trades out so ineffectively. Yeah, plenty of units here on the high side. That's going to be a base that will get tapped off as well, and losing access to this base will be a crucial bit of damage. Now, this army is mega stimmed at this point. But again, there's nothing here in the main to shut this down. This is continued damage as this hatchery is going to get tapped away. Oh, I mean, Yakov is living on borrowed time right now. There's a good engagement with the banelings, but not really going to find any additional damage here. So losing the main base, losing the top side base here. He's going to try rebuilding on the south side with the Rich Vespine Geyser. But overall, if we look at the income advantage, it's slowly continuing to pull in Babymarine's favor. Great tank shots onto the banelings, minimize a little bit of that damage, but the banelings still able to find a decent amount here. Babymarine not taking the world's greatest engagements. He's making this game a little bit longer for himself, but look at the overall supply. It's 75 workers to 47. It's 88 army supply to 56. And that gap is only going to continue here as 3-3 infantry armor and weapons are going to be allowed to complete here. Infantry weapons going to be finishing up here momentarily. A bit of a moment here. Forced to cancel. That's going to be enough for Babymarine to lift up and away. I think Yakov is just trying not to tap out too early here. Oh, but having these queens stemmed onto. Fireplay has left the game. One of our French players. Maybe Fireplay is like, Yakov, this is what you do. This is how you end a game. But maybe he just had to leave due to a, oh, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. This client probably crashed. Yeah, continually rough engagements here by Babymarine, but he has the army and the production to be able to continue making units and rebounding into better positions. Losing this base would be a bit of a devastating pitch, especially since there's another hit squad up in the main base that's also doing a little bit of damage. 7 workers have gone down so far. There are nukes in production as well. Do we have any ghosts out just yet? No, it looks like the ghosts have just hit the production tab. 3 ghosts on the way. +2 missile, only stopping, or only getting done now. And it's too little, too late. Babymarine wrestles back in the series 1-1. And we're going to go to a game number 3. All right, so standard game number 3 already cooking up here. Babymarine is going to be in a bit of hot water. If he cannot clean this up, oh, but he's going to get a great jump onto that extractor. So, good start for Babymarine already. I think Yakov should see that the Reaper is here and be able to try and wriggle this drone over, but not going to risk it just yet. All right, we do have a quick third base once again out of Babymarine. We're starting to see this more and more in the current meta, where Terran players are going to take advantage of a quick economic advantage over their opponent, and that's going to give them a very powerful mid-game timing, where they're going to be able to wind up with a few extra tanks, a few extra Marines, and really make a strong push happen. But what we usually lose on that is the timing into Stimpack. Not going to be as quick. In fact, in a lot of situations, it might not end up happening at all. So in this case, Babymarine is going to flip-flop over to his starport. We're probably going to see Cloak Banshee come out here. Definitely Banshee for sure. We'll see if Cloak ends up on the menu as well. There's finally Banshee Cloak going to go down. And that gets us a very standard-ish game. YoungYakov's going to get a scout off on that, though. How'd he get that Zergling in there? That Zergling was all greased up. It must have, like, studied at the School of Cyril or something. That ended up being a really, really good position to play from. So, it will be double Banshee. We haven't gotten a bio start just yet, so no stim pack on the way yet, but additional barracks are going to be built onto that reactor. Now we do see stim pack on the way. Bit of a scout for a potential fourth base there, but is not going to see the drone that just went down. That fourth base is going to get planted on site. It is a very late layer, which could be complicating for these Banshee that are going to come out onto the map. these units are going to try and stay on the high side of this 4th base location. Yakov going to play just a little bit greedy, wants to try and get that hatchery down. Is it going to be able to go down, though? I mean, he's abandoned the queens on this assault. I mean, this hatchery's going to get killed. He's going to get full killed. Oh, that is a bit of an oversight here by Yakov. I think he was very hard focused on making sure that these Banshees didn't get extended damage done, and they won't. I mean, they are going to get shoved off. They are going to prevent another 4th base, though. That's a bit unfortunate here for our Zerg player, and this Queen's going to get caught out as well. There still is no Overseer. Now finally will get brought out. These Banshees should be able to get up and away. Additional damage is going to come down. 4th base finally going down at the 9 o'clock position. All these Banshees are finding a lot of value. More kills, more damage, more deflection. Meanwhile, 3rd base is going to get planted on site. We're going to start seeing some workers get brought out to it. I'm sure, but currently right now, not anything in the production tab. Oh, that Banshee has 5 health. No SCVs in the production tab just yet. We do have 1-1 on the way. Babymarine is slowly working his way through his macro cycle. We should see SCVs at some point in the near future. Instead, right now, it's just going to be 6 workers out at the 3rd base location. Bioforce is not going to find a whole lot of damage. Fair number of lings for sure. Babymarine killed 4 of his own Marines. With Widowmine shots. Got it. Just like Widowmine. How's that work? We figured it out though. Man, these Banshees are still alive. 2-2 on the way for both players actually. So I think that leans a little bit into the Zerg player's favor. Having the option to keep things going. Okay, these queens should finally clean up both of those Banshees, and now those Banshees are going to be able to fall. This Widowmine painfully close to finding a lot of damage here. But some very good stutter step micro here. Wow. That was actually a really cool interaction. These Hellions are going to find more damage as well. That mine does get killed off. But instead of tanks, it's going to be mines and Marines once again. Didn't work so well for Babymarine in game number 1. But he's hoping that it will work out better for him here in game number 3. Sticks around on those units here. Infestation Pit is just about done for our Zerg players, so Hive will be on the way very shortly. There's going to be more Hydraling Bane. We do have that Hydra Den already planted down. Muscular Augments have been started on top of it. And it seems like it's a nice little back and forth. Yakov doing a pretty decent job of holding back his opponent. This is exactly what we saw in game number 1 as well. That's going to be a dead base. In fact, Babymarine's going to find value in both locations here. Wow. 2-2 complete now for both players. Killing off both of those hatcheries is a lot of scary damage. Losing 14 workers as well is going to be a huge part of the story on top of it. YoungYakov was starting to wrestle a really, really secure economy, but instead is going to find that he will have to trickle back down. There's one Reaper in here. Is that the Reaper from the beginning of the game? If so, very impressive. Good amount of push back and forth here for Babymarine as he tries to control the creep spread just a little bit. But we do see a Lurker Den coming down. So Hydra, Lurkerling, Bane. We have more additional units being produced. A fourth base going to be on site now. That's going to be a planetary fortress for Babymarine as he secures more and more of his stable economy. +3 incoming as well. We're not going to see +3 armor just yet. A good set of mines actually get a lot of friendly fire damage down onto Babymarine. Not exactly what he was looking for. We'll try and get as many of these mines as humanly possible. We'll clean up the remainder of the Banelings, though. So that's a bit of nice damage here. Babymarine comes out on top, at least for now. That Widow Mine is still available. We'll try and get as much damage as he can. He gets a fair number here. If we look at the battle report, this mine has 25 kills. With that battle report, things do look to be in the favor of our Blue Zerg, even still. But right now, Babymarine with a sizable supply advantage here, 171 to 150. Keeping these bases on the retreat is going to be a continuing goal here of our Terran player. Finding that base there on the north side, but that's going to allow Yakov to rotate here. He's going to have a better protection power with these lurkers that I don't think have necessarily been scouted as of yet. No. But now they will be spotted here. So tanks will be added into the mix more and more. Those will be able to outrange those lurkers, at least a little bit. I was going to check and see quickly how that mine was doing, if that was going to have additional kills from the last time that we looked at it, but didn't get a chance to see it. Command Center is going to be able to float onto site. We'll have a 5th base location for Babymarine. He'll be able to continue expanding here. He's in a good spot economically. He just needs to be able to find a way to break his opponent here. But now the tank count is starting to get rather large, and that will be a bit more difficult to try and engage into. Oh no, those tanks are actually going to go the wrong direction. This is a bit of a slip up by Babymarine. These lurkers are going to be a lot more devastating. Oh, some great blinding clouds here. Top of this bio is going to get to stem forward, but most of those lurkers have been picked up and cleared off of the map. It does even out a little bit of the army force as well. Now we start seeing some very, very good coverage here by these tanks. These ghosts are going to provide a little bit of extra damage as well, but more tanks will get killed and picked off. Hydra, Lurker, Ling, Bane. A scary, scary army force. Ooh, we saw nukes on the tab for just a brief moment. Where do we have? Where do we have a nuke at? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there the nuke was being built, but instead personal cloaking is going to be done as well. It's kind of hard to get those nukes off if there are no cloaks available. Now, tanks do outrange Liberator just by a little bit, so being able to take advantage of that range difference will be important. Some very, very good set of circumstances here. Ooh, great. Oh, that was a great parasitic bomb down onto that medevac. It's going to get so many of those medevacs dangerously low. That will be a nice exchange here by Yakov. I mean, what what very even play here by these two players. Cloaking still on the way. I hate that I can't actively like get where I need to go. There we go. Both players spending their banks remarkably well. Yakov has a bit of a gas bank, but Zerg players can easily spend that down in a pinch if they need to. But now we have Vipers out onto the map. Back and forth here. This entire situation is just very, very quick back and forth. Nuke's going to be brought in now. Finally, that cloaking is done for those ghosts. And that should start taking a very, very strong precedence here. The upgrades are a bit behind for the Zerg player. There's only +1 for those lurkers and hydras, which makes it a little bit harder for those to pack a punch as they eventually will want to start coming across the map and being aggressive. But it wouldn't be surprising to me to see right now this continue to be as defensive as humanly possible. These Zerglings are firing a decent amount of damage though, but those tanks got sieged up to deal some extra damage on the protection, and those were not going to be able to get anything done. So now those are going to try and find additional worker damages. The nuke is going to go down here at this base location, and this is a rocking back and forth here. Babymarine is not getting the exchanges that he needs to, but I think this nuke is going to go off, and that will begin a little bit of a back and forth here. Yakov is going to try wrapping around the top side. There will be a planetary fortress, but with the lurker range, that will not be that big of an issue here. Oh, I love it. I love it, making sure that he spreads out those lurkers so that way he can deal as much damage as possible to both buildings and units. That's going to complicate things here for Babymarine, as Babymarine was relying on those bases. Oh, this is slowly falling out of Babymarine's positions here. He's going to have advanced EMP or advanced shockwaves, which will be useful against those Vipers, but I don't think there's even that many Vipers available. There's 3. Oh, there they are. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be helpful, but could still be a bit of a complicating situation here. Yeah, these lurkers will find a lot of valuable damage for Yakov here. He has enough. He thinks he does at least. Gonna try and get on top of those workers. The workers will continue to take a lot of damage here. 13 go down. Another planetary fortress does fall. And now it slowly becomes a game of apathy. Entropy. Actually, it's entropy. My fault. Who's going to be able to trade more efficiently? If we look at the units lost tab, it's actually rather close. This is much closer than I expected it to be, but we're at the 20-minute mark, and it doesn't seem clear who's actually going to be settling up. On this leaderboard.
think he's going to try and force his way in here. And even despite the lack of Viper energy, this is a lot of damage that's going to be difficult for him to counter from, because there's just nowhere for any of these units to go. This base is going to get killed down. All of these units are going to get killed. All of those workers are killed. 32 have gone down. Yes, there is going to be a nuke, but what is going to be able to stop these lurkers from just bulldozing everything down? The Lings are going to draw the planetary fire for only a moment, and that's all it needs here. 47 workers have gone down. Multiple Lings are just going to come streaming across the map. This orbital command is going to get dangerously low here. Are there any workers to be able to repair it? I mean, there's only 18, and they're all out at this location. They are going to get pulled to try and help. Now a Nidus network is probably going to seal this deal. All of these lurkers and Lings are going to get pulled back. Babymarine falls apart at the last second. YoungYakov bulldozes his way forward.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you can catch more of my videos as they are released. If you want more Rushi content, feel free to find me on Twitch and Twitter. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.